His backfield mate, Mark Ingram, is back this week after a 4-game suspension to begin the season. So, a lot of questions about how do you utilize Mark Ingram going into this week. Stefania, you feel most confident of us. Matthew, you feel least confident. Stefania, do you sort of assume that because of how effectively they split the work last year with Mark Ingram and Alvin Kamara, that they could just pick it up and do it again this season?
That was part of it. Mark Ingram met the team at the airport. He wanted to let them know when they came back from their last game that he is ready to participate. And I think just like we heard from Sean Payton that they were going to limit Alvin Kamara's touches, he wasn't going to get more work while Mark Ingram was gone. Wrong. I don't think that we can necessarily have a plan. Like, this is not going to be automatically Alvin Kamara is going to continue in the way that he has. I think that they benefited from each other on the field when they were out there together. They complemented one another. They basically, you had at times 2 top 10 running backs for the Saints. I'm not saying that it's going to start out that way, but I do think they're going to work Mark Ingram into the mix immediately. That this is going to happen out of the gate.
Matthew,
I have zero doubt.
Okay, Stefania has zero doubt. Matthew, do you have more than zero doubt?
I have significant doubt. Again, I just talked up that I think the Washington Redskins have a better defense than people give them credit for. I think they have a better front line and front seven than people give them credit for. They're 7th against the run so far this year. Listen, you can argue, certainly they've played Arizona, Indy, and the Green Bay.
A lot of confidence in your team. A lot of confidence.
Well, that's
a good thing. You should.
Yeah.
What sports
I just don't think
fandom's all about.
faced these running backs who basically they were matchup proof last year.
I think Alvin Kamara is matchup proof. And so I just think if you're Sean Payton and you've got Alvin Kamara, who for the last 2 weeks, 55 touches for 371 yards and 3 touchdowns for the Saints. Yeah. Alvin Kamara has been nothing short of fantastic. Alvin Kamara averaging 6.7 yards per touch this season. Why would you want him to have less touches? You think about weeks 9 through 17 last year when Alvin Kamara was emerging. Mark Ingram, was getting 16 touches a game, weeks 1 through 8, 19 touches a game, right? And so my feeling is that that's actually not true. Wait, I'm looking at my numbers here. That's actually not true. Ingram got 14 touches a game over the final half of last year. He was getting 14 touches a game. So my point is that his touches went down over the second half of last year. It's his first game back. Kamara is rolling. I just don't know how you get significant amount of work out of Mark Ingram. And so in a game where I don't think it's a particularly favorable matchup, where he's on the wrong side of a committee, I just don't know how you can trust him. Part of my ranks are, how confident are you? Just the level of risk you're willing to assume.
Correct.
There's tons of risk with Mark Ingram.
Let me just say
Where
this.
do you stand?
Let me just say this. Is I'm right in the middle of you two guys, and here's the reason why. There are sort of let's call it 2 options for ranking Mark Ingram this week. One would be that he is the number 2 running back in this offense and gets around 14 total touches, and he performs well enough to merit flex level output. 2 is he doesn't really touch the football that much, and he ends up being somebody that you wish you hadn't put into your lineup that soon. People who work in this community, the fantasy football community, they're going to be probably pretty split on those. The people that end up guessing right, again, this comes down to process versus results. None of us know. We don't know. We are not Sean Payton. I am just guessing by saying that I think he could.
I'm not sure he even knows.
And
because you see how the game,
either,
right?
So I don't want to hear people
look when they're together for the first time in a year.
If I rank Mark Ingram, if he hits my ranking slot, which is now 29, if he somewhere between, let's say, 27 and 31, I'm not going to pound my chest. There is no evidence right now on Mark Ingram for 2018. This is a dart throw. We are giving you our suggestions, but we have to concede that in this sport that we cover, this game that we cover, there is a lot of risk baked into every forecast. That is an example of one. Philip Lindsay.
But given all the uncertainty, I just don't know how you can rank him, how you can feel confident.
I've got him as a lower end flex. Stefani's got him as a higher end flex, and you've got him as a player that you'd rather see for one more week, at least, before you utilize him.
That is correct.